Welcome into Spill the Tea, the golf podcast about everything but golf. Okay, so we will be talking golf, but all the things like around golf that you wouldn't expect to be talking about. Amy Rogers alongside Anna Jackson. Anna, how do you feel to be embarking on this adventure together? I'm so excited just to spend a little more time with you.
Well, likewise, Miss Rogers. I'm really excited about this podcast. I think it's going to be, as you say, it's going to be a little bit different. Obviously, we're going to be releasing these podcasts around the biggest women's events that we've got on the calendar for the rest of the season. But this is not the podcast to be talking about tournament golf. We're going to be talking about everything around the podcast, sort of places to go, the scoop at the event, sort of behind the scenes. Obviously, we're going to be down there with Golf Channel Live, doing sort of behind the scenes life on the road. And not only that, we're going to have guests, aren't we, Amy?
Yes, I'm really excited about some of the guests that we have lined up. And the whole idea of this podcast is to just get to know players on a different level. Not like we know them from like our typical post round interviews, like the questions that you wouldn't normally get to ask somebody. Just getting to know them on a deeper level. So, in the spirit of this, we thought it would be fair to open up ourselves first as the hosts of this new podcast to help you get to know us a little bit better first as we embark on this new journey together, because you don't really know us in that way. I mean, what you see of us on TV is so different. You see such a small snippet of like who we are and our personalities and what we're like. So this is a chance for you to get to know us a little bit as well. And Anne and I were just talking the other day, and it's so funny because we work in TV, but we both don't really like talking about ourselves, which is like hilarious that we're on television. So this will be like a little bit of a challenge for us just to like open up and share with you guys.
I know, it's kind of amazing. So we spend our entire careers in front of America, worldwide, talking about golf. But then when it comes to sort of bringing viewers inside our ropes, for some reason, it seems a lot more scarier. Sort of putting yourself on the line and actually, putting yourself out there for people to, decide if they like you or not. And that's a little bit of a scary thing. But yeah, I mean, going back to our guests, I can't wait. Just the idea of asking Jin Young Ko who she texts the most, or Lydia Ko, what was your last Google search, or Minji Lee, one thing that Minji Lee can't live without, to have the guests on at the biggest time of the year, but also just to talk to them about everything other than golf. I don't think any podcast has ever done that before. I'm excited about this.
I don't think so. I know, me too. So stay with us a little bit later in the show. We are going to tease one of these new segments, some really fun questions. You'll have to stick with us to see a little preview of some of the things we are going to be asking some of the biggest names in the game of golf. And we're going to use ourselves as guinea pigs so that you can learn a little bit about us. So we're excited. We're going to kick off this first podcast, launching this one with the U.S. Women's Open being held for the very first time. Can't even believe this, that there hasn't been a women's major played at Pebble Beach ever. This is huge. The 78th U.S. Women's Open going to be held at Pebble, and we will be there all week long. We, of course, will be covering all the birdies and bogeys there, but we're not going to get into that here. We're going to talk about things in and around this event. But before we dive into this next major championship, Anne and I actually got to work together on site at the last women's major, the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. Okay, this is quite a story. Because if you tuned in, you are not used to seeing Amy Rogers on the desk for that long. So there is a whole story to what actually happened at KPMG. Okay, I'm just going to start off. So I come in to Valstral. It's Monday. We get there early. I literally am still just standing by my car, catching up with one of the camera guys. I haven't seen him in a while. He does some fun stuff for Disney. I'll get into my love of Disney later, but we're catching up. We're talking about his latest shoot. And over walks our illustrious producer, Chloe. And she has a gigantic smile on her face. And I cannot understand why she is so excited on a Monday morning to see me. Way too much smiling going on. I'm like, something is up. Now, I'm coming into KPMG. I've had my first week off in 8 weeks. I worked 8 weeks straight between Golf Channel, other gigs, whatever. So I'm heading to KPMG being like, okay, I know LPGA. I know it much better than covering PGA Tour, which I covered a few times in the recent weeks. But, I know it so at such a different level that I was like, this is going to be a great week. It'll be a little bit easier. No. Not happening.
No.
So Chloe walks over to me and she's like, Anna, is sick. Like, she is not feeling well. I don't think she's going to be able to make it today. We're going to need you to fill in and host the show. And it's just like an hour long Golf Central, which I filled in doing occasionally. The only difference is that it's on site. I was like, okay, totally fine. Going to be with a band of Blumenhurst. Great. I have packed no clothes to host a show. All I have are like my golf clothes, because there were so many times I would pack stuff and you would never wear it.
No.
And you're like, why is
No.
this just taking up room in my suitcase? Forget it. So I have no golf stuff. So we realized there's a mall across the street from our hotel, which is great, because how many times have you traveled to an event and there is no shopping? I mean, there's no shopping within like hours
No.
of where you're
It's
staying.
the beauty of golf courses. They're literally in the middle of nowhere.
Yes. So we luck out. There is not just a mall, but it is a good mall. It has a Nordstrom, it has Bloomingdale's, Neiman Marcus. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to be in a pinch, at least this is the place to be. So I leave the golf course, immediately go to the mall, and it is like supermarket sweep. I am just grabbing things like left and right. I'm like, something has to work. Something just has to work. And it's like, it's so different when you're shopping though for TV clothes, because they have to be like certain colors, certain sort of like fit, you know, it's just like a certain look to it. And so the options are narrow. There's not a lot of options. And I need to like get back to the golf course so we could get ready for the show. So I'm just like grabbing things left and right.
But you also had
I was
our
like,
executive producer's credit card. So, you know, budget was probably higher than normal.
like,
Thank you very much.
just expense it. So I was like, $500 blazer. Maybe I will. No, I restrained myself, but I tried to be smart about it. So I find some options. I got this pink blazer and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get an extra just in case I need to come back, because I did not know what was going on with you.
Okay.
So I get back and I get my clothes ready to go. So day one. Now, what is happening on your end as all this is playing out?
Okay. So picture the scene. KPMG Women's PGA Championship hosting Golf Central pre-game, post-game is one of the biggest weeks of my calendar year with Golf Channel, because we have, not only do we have a 1 hour show on the Monday, that's just, you know, to kind of ease us in off the back of the men's US Open, but we have 5 hours of preview programming on Tuesday and Wednesday, which I'm up there with Amanda Bloomerhurst and Paige McKenzie. We've got the biggest guests that you could possibly imagine. We've got Rose Zhang up there. We've got Alison Felix, who's down there for the, to talk to some of the team about what it's like to be an amazing female athlete in this industry turned businesswoman. We've got Brooke Kennison on the desk. We've got all the biggest names you can ever imagine. This is one of the most exciting weeks of the year for me. So there I am on Saturday, having a wonderful weekend. My husband, Tom, my son, Max, we get home from lunch. All of a sudden, around the corner, I hear Tom go, "Oh God." And I'm thinking, oh God, what's just happened? I go in there, and I kid you not, Max is almost 2. Max has projectile vomited across Tom's face, down his shirt, all over the floor. We're talking like chunks of Max's fresh lunch stuck to the corner of Tom's lip. I mean,
oh my God.
That is the extent. So we're like, oh God, what are we talking here? Are we talking food poisoning? No. 4 hours later, Max is then sick again. So we're thinking, okay, oh my gosh, she's got some kind of virus. We get to Sunday evening and we're like, you know what? I think we got away with this. I think we're fine. We go to bed totally fine. I'm like, right, we're off to New Jersey on Monday. Happy days. Bring on the KPMG. About 2 a.m. Sunday night, without being too graphic, let me tell you, Amy Rogers, all hell broke loose.
No.
In our bedroom.
No.
It was not in a good way. It was norovirus, you know, everything you imagine it to be and more. So that's when I called Chloe on Monday morning saying, look, I'm not going to make it in for the 1 hour show, but I might make it in. I'm hoping to make it in for the big 5 hour monsters on Tuesday and Wednesday. But I'm like, Amy's on site. She's hosted Golf Central before. She's totally got this covered. Get the girls some new outfits. We're good to go. Monday night rolls round. Tom is in a whole world of pain. There's no physical way I could sit at a desk for 5 hours. I mean, it was good for me or the viewer, put it that way. And so you were just an absolute angel from heaven, and you sat on that desk for those 5 hours, both days. And there we are. But I mean, that is just a classic example of when things are going so smoothly. You've got huge shows coming up, and it's just a complete and utter train wreck. And, you know, life happens, doesn't it?
It does. It does. As someone who also has a young son, and you have that moment with them and you realize they're sick, and suddenly you just feel like a ticking time bomb and
You're
you're
done.
just waiting. You're like,
I mean,
it's going to hit me. You're just waiting for it.
our house
It's the
dropped
worst
like
feeling.
flies the week of KPMG. And obviously it happens on, one of the biggest weeks of the year. Sure, sure.
Of course. It's always the way. Always the way. Well, I'm so glad that you got to feeling better though, because you were able to
Thank you.
make it. You joined us on site on Thursday. You were a trooper rest of the week. It was just crazy, total craziness.
It was.
But
But,
it was an awesome week.
yeah, Bolter's role was amazing. Everything we hoped it would be and more. The women have deserved a platform like that for a long time, and it paid off. Great week. Pebble's arguably going to be even better.
Yeah, huge. So we're going from Baltusrol, where the women got to play for only the third time in history, first time since 1985, first time for KPMG, and now we're shifting our focus to Pebble Beach, the U.S. Women's Open, also a first. There has been so much buzz surrounding this major. I mean, and not just like in women's golf, but like just across the golf landscape as a whole. Like, I can't tell you how many people I've talked to. They're like, are you going to Pebble? Like, I'm going to be at Pebble. Like, people we wouldn't expect. So I feel like there's going to be a huge media turnout for this major championship that we haven't really seen before. But, it's the women's first time there. Do you remember your first memories of Pebble Beach?
Yeah, do you know, I've only been once, and it was back in 2016 when I was with the previous show that I hosted before coming out with Golf Channel, Golfing World with Sky Sports. And it was amazing. I mean, one of the toughest weeks of my year. I was filming a travel destination golf guide around the Monterey Peninsula. So, there I was in my like
Dream
convertible
job.
yellow Mustang,
Amazing.
just a glorious week. And so, yeah, obviously stepping onto Pebble first time, I mean, no one forgets it, but it was maybe day two. It was one of the most weird and surreal days of my life. We were filming down at Spyglass Hill, just sort of down the road, and my cameraman was out filming a couple of, filming some, just a bit of color of the golf course, and I was just sat in the clubhouse, and this guy comes over and he's like, oh, Anna Whiteley, golfing well. I said, yeah. He goes, what are you doing? I said, oh, just, doing a bit of filming. He goes, well, I know this is really random, but two of our guys out of our full ball at Pebble were teeing off in about 40 minutes. Do you and your cameraman want to come and join us? I was like, yes. So
Does that really happen? Does that happen in real life? I can't believe
I
that
know,
actually like happened. It's
it
amazing.
was so bizarre. Cancel all afternoon plans. Huge busy day of filming. Cancelled. Call our producer. Sorry, Rob. Something's come up. We're gonna have to change the schedule. So we fly back to the hotel, grab our golf shoes. Obviously, we didn't bring our golf clubs with us. We rock up at Pebble Beach. We're like flying by the practice area, picking up some rental clubs, which I'm pretty sure were men's clubs because they were so heavy. And we rock up onto the first tee. And who is the fourth of our four ball? Carlton from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So,
Oh, of course.
because it was AT&T Pebble Beach week. So we
Also,
it was just amazing. Being from the UK as well, I know he's like a very familiar face on the golf scene, but I was pretty fresh to America at that point, and he was, everybody knew Carlton growing up. Everybody
oh
watched
yeah.
Fresh Prince at home, and I think I might have said, Carlton, great to meet you. And he was such a good guy, such a big character. And I remember teeing off, having not hit a single imagine playing Pebble Beach with zero practice, zero warm up,
Yes.
not even with your own club. We rocked
How
up,
did
and
it go?
thank goodness, I ripped my first drive, and Carlton goes, "Oh, girl, you're cooking out gas."
That's awesome.
And it was, but I mean, picture the scene: the par three seventh, the approach on eight. I mean, I didn't stand a chance. I had to buy a new sleeve of ball at the turn. I mean, I like to think my game was slightly improved, but it was obviously an incredibly challenging day of golf, but one of the greating golfing moments of my life. Have you been?
That's amazing. What a great story.
Yeah.
Yes, not nearly as exciting. I did not have the dream scenario of like walking in and someone just needs me to join their foursome. But so I had been out there. Probably the closest I got was back in 2016, the Women's US Open. I was covering that when I was still at LPGA, and it was at Cordoval. So it's like an hour and a half like north of Pebble. So I was like, well, this is the closest I've been. Like I have to drive down and check it out. So I made the drive down. I get there. and just around like the 18th green, that area around the water. And it was like, unless you have a tee time, you can't go like any farther. So all I've been able to see was just around that 18th green in the water. Like I took some pictures, but I feel like it was just like this cruel teaser. I got like this small glimpse of like what Pebble Beach is like. So I'm so excited just to get back out there, because it's like, you got to play for free, which is awesome. I mean, it's $625 now.
Yeah,
I
back
think
then
it
it was
just went up. And
yeah, it's definitely gone
that's
up.
crazy. And I think they make you get a caddy. So it's just like there's so many like expense. It ends up being like pretty pricey. So if you had to pay, would you have paid to play Pebble Beach?
625.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Was it worth 625?
I mean, it probably was. It probably was. I mean, it almost definitely was, especially with, the sprinkling of Carlton into the equation as well. But it was 625 is a lot for a round of golf, Amy. Would you
It is
pay?
a lot. I think I would. Now, my round probably wouldn't come with Carlton as well. That would be like an extra add-on. But oh, totally. Yes, I would totally pay it. I mean, it's just like one
Yeah,
of those places. That's like a bucket list. Like you gotta play it. You gotta do
yeah.
it.
I think any real golf nerd, to be honest, not even a golf nerd. I think even the most low key golf fan, it's the kind of gift that you get your dad for his 70th, and it's like such an
Yes,
iconic. It's such an
totally.
iconic venue with so much history. Everybody knows every hole. I think you would, wouldn't you? Would you? How high would you go? A grand?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, like $1,000.
Yeah, I'd probably pay a grand.
Okay, 1,000.
I'd maybe
Where else?
I'd take my kid out of daycare for a month and maybe
Yes,
pay 2 grand.
take one for the team.
Pay one for the team.
Where else would you pay that much to play? Is there anywhere else that you would pay that to play?
I'd love to play Augusta. Obviously, love to play
Sure.
Augusta.
Yeah.
I did break 80 for the first time in my career at Kings Barnes. That was a pretty amazing experience. Although,
I feel like that course is really underrated,
yeah,
because
yeah,
I was there for the AIG Women's Open. Breathtaking.
yeah,
Really beautiful course. Just your typical like linksy layout. It's right on the water.
yeah.
I feel like nobody talks about it. It's like so like under the radar.
Yeah, it's one of those courses where if you're going to book a golf trip to Scotland, you're going to throw the old course in there. You're probably going to throw, I don't know, Carnoustie in there, and you're going to throw Kings Barnes in there as well, because you're right. It's just so coastal. It's beautiful. It's we had all 4 seasons in one day. Classic Scottish golf. It was bright sunshine, turned horizontal rain, thrashing down to your bare bones. We were soaked within the first hour. Yeah, very, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, very lucky to do that, but haven't broken 80 since. So that's that.
You have to go back to Kings Barnes. That's your spot.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about Pebble, because there's so many things about this course, but there's a lot around it that I feel like we don't really know as well. So I'm going to quiz you on a couple of things.
Me
With
too.
Pebble Beach to see how well. All right, let's see how well we really know this course before we head there next week. Okay, first one. Okay, so the lone cypress. It's like the iconic tree.
Yeah.
You always see it in the photos, like beautiful photographs. Okay, how old is the lone cypress on 17 Mile Drive?
Good question. It's got to be a couple of hundy, I'd say.
Really? You would guess that old?
I think so. It's going to be more than 50.
Okay. So how
And
many?
I think you're asking me.
hundred?
I think you're asking me this question because it's higher than I think it is.
Yes.
I'm going to say 100,
So how old?
185 years old, that tree. 285 years old.
Yeah, they're guessing it's between 200 and 300 years old.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
I
never would have guessed that.
In America.
Yes.
Wow.
Unbelievable. And that it's made it that long, just like out there in the elements on the coast.
I know.
That's pretty impressive.
You've got to think with the old erosion at some point, that bad boy's going to drop into the ocean.
Yeah.
That'd be a sad day. We won't dwell on that. Okay.
All right. What do you got?
Right. Which swing jazz world famous crooner was banned from the famous lodge after he punched the son-in-law of Pebble Beach founder Samuel Morse in the face?
Oh, jeez. This is getting dark.
I mean, it's a left field quiz question. I'll give you that.
We had a murder and a ghost last major at Baltusrol. Now we got another fist fight. Crooner.
Yeah.
Jazz crooner?
I think.
Is Frank Sinatra a jazz? Is he jazz?
Ding, 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 ding. Well, he's sort of
Yay!
swing. Yeah, he's sort of jazz.
Swing, yeah.
Yeah.
Really? He punched somebody?
Yeah, Frank Sinatra was banned from the lodge a rowdy evening when Frank Sinatra received a lifetime ban after he punched the son-in-law in the face. One headline reading, Sinatra wants snack, settles for smack. I mean, Frank Sinatra, honestly.
They just don't write headlines like that anymore.
No, they don't.
So classic.
They don't.
Okay. Speaking of celebs, the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am used to be originally known as what? What was the title?
I should probably know that one, shouldn't I?
You've heard this. I know you've heard this.
You might have me on that one, Amy Rogers. I'm afraid to say. What was it?
You got this. Think celebrity. Another celebrity at Pebble was involved in the original tournament there.
Yeah, your favorite guy.
Yes.
Your favorite guy.
No.
Why am I blanking on his name? Oh my gosh. I'm absolutely blanking on his name. He's been there every year for the last 70 years.
No, I'm pretty sure this
Not
guy's
Clint
dead.
Eastwood. Oh, no, I'm thinking it's not going to be Clint Eastwood. Why would it be named after Clint Eastwood?
Not Clint Eastwood. Good guess.
I don't know. Hit me.
Crosby Clambake. Bing Crosby. You knew that. You've heard that.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I did know that. That's actually one of the nuggets that I had for you, but I'm going to leave that one for now. Okay, here's one for you. Before the landscape was agreed to become Pebble Beach, the golf course, what was that area of land going to be? To the point where even there were skeleton drawings of how they were going to do it.
An amusement park.
Like 100 years ago? No, it was going to be a housing development. They marked up all the residential plots. They marked up where the apartments were going to be, the houses were going to be, and then it got saved by the man, the legend, Samuel Finley Brown Morse, who brought it back to be a golf course. Imagine.
Thank God for Samuel.
What would golf be without Pebble Beach?
I know. Can you even imagine? And they still have houses there. So you could still live there. So it's like the best of both worlds. You get the golf and the houses.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, you were talking about my boy earlier, Clint Eastwood, a fixture out at Pebble Beach.
When did he become your boy? When did that?
Apparently I have a thing for like 90-year-old men.
Well, golf, that's your sport.
That's true. Fit right in. All right. So my boy Clint recently sold his home at Pebble Beach. How much? How much did he sell it for?
Oh, good question. What's the view like? Do we know what the view is? Do you know where it is?
I would imagine it's pretty nice. I have no details other than a dollar amount. It had to be pretty good.
It's got to be in the mills. Yeah, it's got to be in the mills. 12 mil?
Close. Yeah, 10.
10 mil. Not bad. Nice.
Not too shabby.
What did he do with the money? Maybe he went to go and buy a house on Augusta.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
my final one for you is, I don't know if you know who this person is, but I thought it was kind of funny. Which 2-time Oscar-winning actor hit his opening tee shot on Pebble Beach into his own room, startling his screaming wife who was having a shower at the time?
What? That happened? Oh my gosh. I've never heard about this.
No.
2-time Oscar winner that plays golf.
Yeah. I mean, think black and white. I don't think you would have heard of him. Warren
Beatty? I don't even know if he plays golf.
No.
Did he even win an Oscar? I don't even know.
Jack Lemmon.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I played out there. I should have done that.
Yeah, he did. He said his wife shrieked when she heard the ball come into the room as she was showering, thinking someone was, breaking into the room. But Lemmon also did famously say he would trade an Oscar just to make the cut at the AT&T Pebble Beach.
Wow.
That's how much these guys love it. That's how much the women are going to love it.
All right, speaking of celebs, since they have this annual celebrity event out there, well, you've already played with Alfonso Ribeiro, so you can't really top that. But is there a celebrity that you would love to play with?
That's a good question. So many celebs play golf at the moment, don't they?
I know.
My initial reaction was Celine Dion because she's one,
Oh,
she's one of my music heroes. Seen her in concert.
very nice.
She is also a little cuckoo, and I kind of like it.
Favorite Celine Dion song? The Titanic one?
uh,
My Heart Will Go On?
no. That's the way it is a strong one for
Mm,
me. I'm your lady. Oh, the chorus in that is
mm.
unlike anything other. However, you will sort of get a concept of my musical taste here. I don't quite know how to say this, but Michael Bolton is genuinely one of my all-time heroes, and I didn't even.
Michael Bolton?
Yes, what's wrong with
Like
that?
the Michael Bolton. Really?
There is only,
I
there
guess
is
I
only one
can't
Michael Bolton,
complain.
Roger.
Apparently not.
No, well,
Wasn't
so
it Michael Bolton in Office Space? Wasn't that like a whole thing? His name was Michael Bolton. Anyway, okay.
no,
Please
I don't
explain
even know
this
what
to
you're
me.
talking about.
Why?
There
Why
is only one
this
Michael Bolton.
love of Michael Bolton?
Well, I know it's a bit strange because he's American and he's also like 100 years older than me, but his voice. So I don't even know where to start. My love for Michael Bolton started in a very innocent place. His voice is as smooth as butter. It's raspy. It's the kind of voice that makes your hairs stand up on end. Maybe that's just me. And the rest of the other 50-year-old women who go to all of his concerts. Anyway, so I've seen him it was my first date with my now husband, Tom. We went to the Royal Albert Hall in London, watched Michael Bolton. We, walked out of the Royal Albert Hall, picked up a couple of T-shirts. I think his said, "I want to be your sole provider," and mine said, "When a man loves a woman." And this is a first date. It's true love when you stroll down the King's Road in London in Michael Bolton T-shirts after about 2 pints of red wine. There was no going back after that. So we see him in concert a lot. I'm talking to my friend a couple of months later, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm seeing Michael Bolton tomorrow." And she's like, "My sister dates Michael Bolton." I said, "Hold the line. Your
What?
sister's like 27 years old." And at this point, Michael's like 68. She's like, yeah, she works in the movie industry. She met Michael. They've been dating for a couple of years. I'm going to be in the Royal Box tomorrow at the concert. I was like, are you kidding me? You
What are the
know
odds?
how much I love him, and your sister's dating him. I mean, it was just utterly bizarre. So anyway, meanwhile, we move out to the States, and I'm thinking, so this is maybe like 6-7 years ago. I've seen him 5 times in that time. I look on Spotify about 3 months ago and I see he's playing in Connecticut. So he is from Connecticut. He is from the town next to mine in Connecticut, which is
Oh,
just
jeez.
too good to be true. So he's playing.
Has there been a Michael Bolton sighting? Have you
Well,
seen him?
Amy, it's a matter of time, I'm telling you. So get this. This was just so weird. So we thought about buying Max a big old swing set for the garden for his second birthday. So there we are a couple of months ago. We drive through Westport. We see this big sort of play yard with this guy who's selling these big play sets. Go down there, have a look. And it's sort of surrounded by sort of maybe a 50-foot wall. And I was like, oh. So I was like, what's the other side of that wall? Just out of pure interest. And he goes, oh, a singer lives there from the 80s, 90s. I don't know if you've heard of Michael Bolton.
No.
I was like, you
No.
are kidding me. Michael Bolton lives the other side of this wall. What are the chances? So, Michael, if you're listening, I feel like whether they're the golfing gods or whether they are just some kind of god who is bringing us together one step at a time. It is only a matter of time before I see him in like the local Whole Foods or like the local taco bar. I don't know if he's a taco man, but I feel like he probably is. But it's anyway. So I know he plays pro-ams. I do worry that he may be one of those celebrities who you'd be massively underwhelmed if you met him. I know he's very short and I'm very tall. I feel like that would be slightly underwhelming to begin with. And anyway, so long story short, Michael Bolton is my celebrity, my celebrity round of golf. Who's yours?
So you've revisited this child's playground cellar like 50 times now, hoping that you'll somehow
But I
see
mean,
him over the fence.
obviously, we did drive round the back of the wall as soon as we left, and so I've seen his car, I've seen his house, I've seen the gate where he lives. I think he was home as well because there were a couple of cars in the driveway. But I couldn't just rock up and be like, "Hey, my friend's sister used to date you 5 years ago." Anna from the Golf Channel. You know?
Maybe he's a huge fan. He might watch you all the time, and he would be
Well,
so excited that you showed up at his door.
well, that's a great
Or he
point.
could call the police.
That's a great point. Or he could call the police. But I feel like we'd get on quite well. You know, I feel like we go way back, me and Bolton now. I think, it's a dream. It's a dream. I'll keep you updated.
Yes, please do. Because like you said, I think it's only a matter of time before you run into him somewhere. I don't know if he's a big taco
100%.
fan, but maybe the grocery store or something. For sure. All right. Well, you're not alone in like your weird stalker things. So I'm in Cincinnati.
Whoa. Well, it's not a weird story, Amy. There's nothing weird about it.
Hey, it takes one to know one. Okay. So we hear in Cincinnati, you know, the Bengals have obviously been on a great run last couple of years. Joe Burrow is the quarterback.
Sure.
So we hear that he has this house built close to my son's school. So of course, I get over there early one day to pick him up from school, and I was like, I'll just drive around. So they describe it. They're like, yeah, it's like one of those, like, you know, the more narrow, like townhouses they're building where like, it's like a home, but it's like 3 floors and they're like really narrow. So they can fit more of them like close by. So they're telling me it's like one like that. And it, of course, has a Bengals flag out front. So I'm driving like up and down these streets, like looking for this house with the Bengals flag, like looking for Joe Burrow. And he's a huge golf fan. So I did hear that he's a member at a club nearby. So if I could, you know, tee it up with Joe, I think that would be pretty cool.
No, yeah, but the thing is, the difference is, Amy, you went looking for him. Michael Bolton signs come to me. They come. I don't go searching for these things. They come to me. Whereas yours is a little more stalky, driving up and down, trying to see him. Hey, if the 4 of us want to get together for a full ball, I'm in. Pebble Beach.
It's out there. We put it out into the universe. It's on them now. Okay, so we teased this a little bit earlier in the pod. We are super excited about this segment. This is going to be Never Been Asked. It's sort of like Never Have I Ever, you remember from college, those sort of games. Anyway, so we want to focus on questions that we think these players have never been asked before. So we are going to test out a few of the questions that we have in mind. Some of these may make the final lineup, some may not. But anyway, you'll have some fun getting to know us and getting an idea of sort of the questions that we're going to be asking. So, all right, what would you change your first name to?
I knew you were going to ask me this. I don't know. Well, I've always loved the idea of having like alliteration in my name. So like my first and my last name start with the same letter. So maybe I'd be like Jessica Jackson, or like Josie Jack. No, not Josie. No offense to all the Josies out there. Or maybe like what's just like a strong name beginning with J? Jasmine Jackson. Julie Jackson. No. Well, my mother-in-law, believe it or not, her real name is Janet Jackson. She is the original Janet Jackson. Which is,
it's Janet Jackson. Is it really?
Yeah, kind of amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she is the OG.
Funny.
And she uses it all the time. Although she's from the north of England, so the accent.
So she's got an accent. Like, this is really Janet Jackson.
Slightly different. And hopefully she won't be having any nipple slips anytime soon, because it's my mother-in-law. We don't need to see that.
Don't need to see that. Don't need to see that.
We don't need to see that. What would you change your name to?
I always like the idea of, because my name's so short, I always like people that had long names that could shorten it to something. You know, like Alexandra, but you could go by Alex. You know, it's like 2 names in one, sort of.
I could call you Ames.
Something like that.
You could be Ames.
Like, it's still so short.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. If you shorten it.
But it's already, like, I want, you know, this long, extravagant people name that I could have a second shorter version. Like Elizabeth, but you go by, like, Liz.
Like,
or something like that.
What did Phoebe change her name to in Friends? Consuela Banana Hammock.
Yes, something
Phoebe
like
Consuela
that.
Banana Hammock. Yeah, and then Mike changed his name to Crapbag. Maybe we could just go with that.
That's perfect.
That's perfect.
Can you imagine hosting Golf Central as Banana Hammock?
Hey, people would remember it. People would remember
They
it.
would.
Okay, Amy, what was your last Google search?
Clint Eastwood lives at Pebble Beach.
No,
I was stalking him.
before we started recording this podcast, get your phone out and open up your
Okay.
Safari. What was your
I have
last
to look.
search?
All right, this is going to be good.
Yeah, what?
I feel like all my searches have been related to preparing for this podcast.
I know, I feel like you're editing out ones that you don't want to reveal.
Yes. Oh, I searched for Cars soundtrack songs because my son likes listening to songs from the Cars movie when we're in the car. That's what I
Oh,
searched for.
Your little boy Jack is just so cute.
What was yours? What did you search for?
I searched for how to. I think I was double checking on the word how to spell tantalizingly because there's a couple of words out here that I would spell with an S, but US spell with a Z.
Oh, yeah.
So I was checking if it was a
Yeah.
Z or an S, and I think if I want to, stay true to my roots, it's an S. Tantalizingly, great word.
That's funny.
Yeah, quite random. All right, what have you got?
Yeah, this is another one you came up with that I loved, which I think is hilarious. And we've slightly modified this from its original form. So, your last meal, what would it be?
Last ever meal. That's so difficult. Do you know one of the meals that really stands out to me is Tiger Woods' 2019 Champions Dinner with the combo of the sushi and the tacos? Because I think
That sounds pretty good.
anybody ever asks me, what's your favorite sort of culinary dish? Like, what country is your favorite food? I'm always torn between Japanese and Mexican. They are just tied at the top as the all-time great food groups. And so I always, if I'm ever feeling a little bougie, I'll get a sushi. But if I'm ever just need like a good fresh. One of the best foodie trips I ever went on was to Mexico. We went to Tulum, and the food there was it was so fresh. It was freshly caught out the sea. All the menus changed depending on the day and what they'd caught out of the ocean, and the tacos were off the chain. So I would tie Japanese and tacos. I would have just gone to Tiger Woods' Champions Dinner, and it would have been great.
You must really love tacos because you have brought that up multiple times in this podcast. So we got to get this girl a taco.
I bought tacos up multiple times.
You were hoping to find Michael Bolton at a taco shop.
That's true.
That's all the good things coming together. Michael Bolton, tacos.
Well, Bolts has lived in Westport for over 40 years. If anyone's going to know a good taco joint, it's probably going to be him.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right. I feel like you put a lot of thought into your answer and yours sounded very sophisticated. And now I'm going for bottom of the barrel fast food.
You going chicken nuggets?
So, no. So in Cincinnati, you've probably heard of it. Anytime they do a Monday night game or they do any national game here, they always talk about Skyline chili. It's a thing, a Cincinnati thing. But it's not really even a real chili. And it almost has cinnamon in it. And it's weird. But I think you have to grow up with it. So anyway, that would be my last meal. Probably a 3-way with cheese. I don't like the onions or the beans or anything like that.
So what is it?
I love
a
cheese.
Cinnamony.
It's a cinnamony chili with spaghetti. And then they top it with this huge mound of cheese. It's so good.
Wow. I don't think I've ever had cinnamon in chili. Sounds quite nice.
I know. It's weird. It's not even a real chili. I don't even know how to get away with being called chili, but it's a Cincinnati thing. So it's really good.
I feel like there's a lot of American. There's a lot of famous American classic dishes that I still haven't tried, like a Philly cheesesteak. I'm still not quite sure what a Philly cheesesteak is. Or a corn dog. I still don't really know what a corn dog is. There's a couple of things like that, which I feel like if I'm really going to call myself an American, I've got to check off the list.
Yeah, I think we should just make a list of things and we can just have you eat all of them on the show and just tell us what you think about these random American foods.
That's what the listeners want to listen to, me chowing down on a corn dog.
Hey, we said we were going to get to know people on a new level. And if this means corn dogs, it means corn dogs. All right, so that's a little preview of what Never Been Asked is like. Some of those random questions that definitely do not get asked in post-round interviews, getting to know some players in and around the game. So, yeah, we're just going to wrap it up and get ready to say goodbye because, we got to get ready. We've got the U.S. Women's Open coming up. We are going to be there on site, both of us, again, all week for Golf Channel. It's going to be kind of a grind. I mean, those are like long hours. I think we've got a couple like 6:30 a.m. local call times.
It's going to be a grind, but we're #blessed to be there. Yeah, live from.
Yes.
So we are doing a big live from production, of course, that we are both a part of. So we've got 8-hour preview shows Tuesday, Wednesday, 9 till 5. Amy's going to be out there reporting. I'll be on the desk with, I think, Brandel Chambly and Beth Ann Nichols. Karen Stupples is going to be on the desk with us. We're going to have so many guests. And then, of course, we'll be doing our pre and post game coverage as well, Thursday through Sunday. I think we're going to have that set is going to be epic. The view behind the set is going to be incredible. Yeah. I am pumped.
Yeah, it's going to be those like pinch me moments. I kept doing that just at Baltusrol when I was filling in for you because I never hosted like on site, just turning around and like taking in where you are, like you said, it's one of those, like, we're so blessed to do what we do. And like the hours can be crazy and crazy things can happen, as we told you about earlier. But we are just so lucky to get to spend a whole week coming up at Pebble Beach
for
one of the women's majors. So,
hopefully there will be no illnesses. There will be no last minute change of plan. I'm sure there'll be something that goes terribly wrong. There always is.
Always something.
Always something.
All right. Well, go ahead.
But no, I was just saying, I think this should be a Monday release.
Yeah. And you can, let's see, where can you watch this thing? You can watch it on YouTube.
All the big podcast platforms, I believe.
Golf Channel, yes. Golf Channel YouTube, golfchannel.com, pretty much all things Golf Channel. You can check out our podcast or listen to our podcast. So, Anna, before I let you go, we have to decide on our mission of the week. So, Anna, your mission, should you choose to accept it, what's the one thing that you want to make sure that you do at Pebble Beach?
It's a very good question, Amy. So many things. You think you've got so much time, but then you never have that much time. I think I'm not much of a TikToker, not much of a behind the scenes grammar, but I'm going to take this. I'm going to do a behind the scenes day in the life on set with Golf Channel at Pebble, first time ever. No, nothing unseen.
Love it. Love it. That is a great one. I just want to walk all 18 holes. After getting my very brief teaser in my last trip back in 2016, I want to walk the entire course. I want to see it all. And I want to get a selfie with Clint Eastwood. He's got to be there. He's got to be lurking around somewhere. He's always there. Me, Clint, selfie. It's going to happen.
You are so obsessed with Clint Eastwood.
He's like a legend,
Right?
Right?
I get it. Kinda, I get it. But I love, of all the things that you could do, all the tasks that you want to set yourself with, get something. Each to their. Hey, who am I to judge? I'd be on Bolton like a rash if he was out there.
All right. Well, follow us on Twitter and Instagram to find out if we are able to complete our missions. I feel like I went a little bit more out on a limb with mine, so you can see what happens. And we will be sure to update you on our next podcast, too, on how it played out if we completed our mission.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so
Amy
much
Rogers, Anna Jackson, thank you. This has been so fun.